I'm sure over the past few years, all of us have seen some video or article on the horrors of the meat industry. This inevitably leads us to question the morality of our consumption and come to the conclusion that we are truly terrible human beings for inflicting pain and suffering on other animals. But to what end? What reasonable changes can be made to such a system when we are too afraid to confront our own actions? And what effects of the industry on animals and humans alike warrant such change? The detrimental effects of the animal agriculture industry on animals themselves is relatively well documented. Reasons for animal death can range from simple bruises inflicted by abusive owners or other organisms simply trying to survive, to full-blown septicemia or lethal infection of the bloodstream, no doubt propagated by the extremely close proximity these animals are forced to live in. Although the physical harm these animals face is undoubtedly drastic, the psychological damage is far more important. I say important in that when humans see that animals can feel in a manner similar to themselves, they instantly put themselves in their position, enacting the power of empathy. Truly, our entire ethical system is based around empathy, analyzing how you might feel on the other side of your own actions and deciding whether you should perform them based on that analysis. Giving animals emotions humanizes them, easily portraying our actions towards them as fundamentally wrong. That being said, animals don't need to be given something they've always had. The traditional school of thought used to be that animals only had a few simple emotions, not complex emotions like us superior humans. That made it relatively easy for humans to rationalize that it was okay to treat animals as objects, abused for personal progression and gain. This inquiry into the true nature of other animals is easily disproven by the mixture of fear and curiosity present within a monkey hesitantly poking at a snake, or the transition from hostility to amicability in social animal groups, otherwise known as forgiveness. Because these animals can verifiably feel as we do, it is now our duty to reanalyze the acceptability of our actions towards them and enact meaningful change in areas we find deficient in humanity. However, the detrimental effects of the animal agriculture industry upon humans themselves may be of most concern. Ranging from environmental to personal health damage, the plethora of problems created by the ceaseless production of animal products can usually be traced back to the mismanagement of the massive amounts of waste created in the process. Currently, we take quite a Herculean approach to our waste disposal. That is to say, we prefer to wash it away with water. However simple convincing a water nymph to clean your messes sounds, the real-world implications of dumping our waste in waterways and pits are profound and dire. As per the EPA, animal agriculture manure is a primary source of nitrogen and phosphorus to surface and groundwater. Now, can anyone guess the amount of hogs in North Carolina? Is it A, 9,000, B, 900,000, or C, 9 million? Well, if you guessed C, you're correct. Imagine that. Millions of extremely concentrated hogs producing methane and manure in equally concentrated amounts. It's no wonder industrial farms are not able to effectively handle the waste production from their operation. However, that's no excuse to continue mishandling waste. It's simple. If these industrial companies can't handle massive amounts of waste, they shouldn't be handling massive amounts of hogs. This is made incredibly clear when we look at the true total effects of animal waste pollution. Nitrates and phosphates can contaminate river water, making the water toxic and killing less resistant fish. Additionally, organic materials in the waste can attract aerobic bacteria to decompose it, causing dissolved oxygen levels to drop in the preceding water, leaving an area devoid of complex life forms, earning it the name the Dead Zone. This environmental degradation of pristine freshwater sources should be of great economic concern, as in 2014, travelers spent $21.3 billion on tourism in North Carolina. A few of the reasons that people may visit North Carolina are the vast sounds, thick deciduous forests, and untouched mountainous regions, not to mention the wildlife that preside in each of these. So what do you think will happen when those disappear? Any environmental degradation is bad for all North Carolina industries. In 2016, the North Carolina housing market sold $32 billion worth of houses. However, as environmental degradation continues, housing prices will undoubtedly fall, injuring another facet of the North Carolina economy. But perhaps the worst effect of animal waste pollution are those on human health. There are currently hundreds of hog waste pits within half a mile of a school, church, or other public building. These pits can release noxious fumes containing high amounts of ammonia and have been linked to increased blood pressure in nearby North Carolinian residents. Now, increased blood pressure doesn't sound too bad until you consider that heart disease is the leading cause of death in America. And hypertension is a large part of that. It should be truly concerning that we would freely contribute to the most lethal affliction of the United States in order to gain market profit. Additionally, there are hundreds of hog swamps within North Carolina's floodplains, vital sources of drinking water for some communities. This has the potential to contaminate water with many bacteria, including E. coli, turning water non-potable and threatening deadly outbreaks of such diseases. But we wouldn't be performing such heinous acts without reason, right? How about we take a look at some of those reasons? Do you remember those 9 million hogs I told you about earlier? Well, they make up an almost $3 billion industry within North Carolina. Along with poultry, animal agriculture in North Carolina makes up an almost $8 billion industry. Additionally, we are the second largest producer of hogs and poultry in the nation. This means that animal agriculture is an integral part of our economy that just can't be ignored. However, to suggest that one human life or the degradation of our natural resources is worth less than some amount of money, it's just short-sighted. So, with all the facts laid out in front of us, the only real question is, what do we do next? The obvious answer is that farmers have an ethical responsibility to raise their products with minimal damage to their ecosystem and communities. However, this is not always practical, as farmers are being driven to reckless mass production by consumer demands and industrial competition. This is especially prevalent in hog farming, as more than 90% of revenue within the industry comes from hog farms holding more than 5,000 hogs. This is a clear indicator that smaller farms are dying out simply because they aren't profitable anymore. So, if the problem cannot be solved from within the industry, then we as consumers must change trends and regulations to build an industry around the safer farming practices that we desire. One way to force change in industries is through government regulation. Industry leaders explain that all farms in North Carolina are held to the standards set for them and do not violate any laws. If this is in fact the case, the problem may be in the laws themselves. Citizens need to push their representative government to revamp old laws in regards to agriculture with newer, more cohesive clauses. Laws need to be updated in respect to the most current scientific data rather than the whims of economical giants. And above all, existing laws must be effectively enforced to offer us the basic protections that we are guaranteed. However, if this does not make any headway, you may have to say goodbye to the casual convenience of meat you so thoroughly enjoy. That is not to say you cannot have meat, but that consumers have a responsibility to consume meat that is grown responsibly rather than through environmentally debilitating processes. It is not a plea to eat less meat, but safer, higher quality meat. I'm sure the safety, taste, and environmental benefits of paying the extra dollar will surely outweigh the short-term financial cost. And markets do change in response to lack of participation. So go out. Contact your representative while you're shopping in the farmer's market for some artisan sausage. Only you control how markets work. Only you can make a difference in the status quo. And it only works if you make the choice to confront your own actions.